cold in the kingdom. I can feel you fade away. From the kitchen to the bathroom sinking, your steps keep me awake. Don't cut me down, throw me out, leave me here to waste. I once was a man with dignity and grace. Now I'm slipping through the cracks of your cold embrace. So please, please, could you find a way to let me down slowly? A little sympathy, I hope you can show me. If you wanna go, then I'll be so lonely. If you're leaving, baby, let me down slowly. Let me down, down, let me down, down, let me down, let me down, down, let me down, down, let me down. If you wanna go, then I'll be so lonely. If you're leaving, baby, let me down slowly. Let me down. Let me down. Cold skin, drag my feet on the tile as I'm walking down the corridor. And I know we haven't talked in a while, so I'm looking for an open door. Don't cut me down, throw me out, leave me in a waste. I once was a man with dignity and grace. Now I'm slipping through the cracks.
Hey guys, I just got my oat milk latte from Wegmans. I live across the street from a Wegmans, so my new thing has been walking in the morning, picking up a coffee somewhere, and then heading to, well, actually normally I would walk to the Wegmans because it's literally right across the street from my apartment, but then I was halfway here and then I realized that I had, oh my gosh, do you hear my stomach? That I had forgotten my face mask, which was super annoying. So I had to walk all the way back to the apartment, go in the garage, get my mask out of my car, and by that point I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna drive. I drove to Wegmans, but I'm going to drive back to my apartment, park my car, and go for a morning walk. I just got back from getting a coffee at Wegmans. I think the last thing I showed you guys, I was in my car, but yeah, I was gonna go for a walk, but it's literally freezing outside, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna do that today. But today I wanted to just sit down and have more of a sit down chit chat video. I feel like I used to do these a lot in the beginning of my channel, and I used to actually sit in this exact same spot with my palm tree. Today's video I wanted to do a similar motivational type of video, but I wanted it to be more focused on how to de-stress and my tips for when I'm super stressed out. But a lot of different biological and psychological things that happen when your body is under extreme amounts of stress. So your cortisol levels go up. I also read this thing, it was human beings are the only animals that can't turn off the fight or flight mechanism. Basically, when you get freaked out or fearful about something, it's hard for us to be able to turn off that flight mechanism or fight mechanism in a way. Whereas a normal animal, say there's a deer and they're out I don't know, grazing in a field, I don't know, whatever they were doing, maybe they were eating and then they saw a threat of some sort. And then that animal, oh my gosh, Tukey. And then that deer, if they saw the threat, they would maybe sprint away, okay? But then once they sprinted away, their bodies were able to go back to a normal neutral state, and they can go back to eating the grass or doing whatever. But human beings, we're a little more complex and we don't really work like that. And so that's why I thought it would be interesting to just share some of the things that I do when I'm super stressed out, because trust me, I know what it's like to get into a cycle when you're so stressed out and then it's just kind of a spiral. It's really hard to uplift yourself when you're really deep into stress. It's so great to be able to you know, meditate and stuff, but what if you're at the point when meditating literally doesn't work? Trust me, I've been there. When you are so stressed out that even trying to do certain things are just not effective because your body is just in such a state of turmoil. I don't know how else to explain it, but these are some things that I find to be very effective. I have a little list here. so I thought we could just get into it.
I can feel you.
First thing that I have on my list here is actually a morning walk. So morning walks are so great, and I really don't know what it is about being outside in nature. It's such a grounding experience, and I don't think that humans are in nature enough, honestly. Like, I mean, just for example, like my job, I'm on my computer 24/7, and then all of my hobbies also require me to be on my computer so much. So it's like, humans weren't meant to like live inside and stare at a screen all day. We really weren't. And to be able to go outside and be grounded in nature is just so special, and we're able to get more oxygen, and we can get more vitamin D from the sun. And something that I also really like to do is focus on deep belly breathing. So when I'm outside and I'm on my walk, whether I have like a coffee or lemon water or whatever, I can just like focus on my breath and really pay attention to it. And for me, it's always been kind of hard for me to like sit down and meditate. Like, for example, like that's not me. I like to be moving, and I think there's lots of different forms of meditation that are so beneficial that can still give you those same results. I think it's called neuroplasticity. The benefits of meditation can literally change like your brain structure, and whether you're meditating laying down or walking outside, your mind is still going to get the same benefits. So okay, the second tip that I think that is so important when it comes to de-stressing, reducing anxiety and depression is your food. Food can either heal you or it can kill you, and it's so true. There are certain foods that you should just stay away from. That actually, there's been lots of studies that certain foods can cause depression, like lots of processed foods. They can increase anxiety. Gravitate towards organic and whole foods that come from the earth. I was watching Gaia TV one night, and it was like someone, I forget who it was, but there was like a little clip of this guy who's like, if man made it, don't eat it. And I really try to follow by that rule. So for example, one fruit that I can think of that are actually super good for reducing like anxiety and depression are blueberries. They have lots of antioxidants in them, and they come from the earth. So I just try to be more conscious of the foods that I'm eating when I'm feeling stressed out, because it really can change basically like how your body is reacting. The foods that you eat really can play a role in how your internal chemicals and hormones are balanced or not balanced. So if you're finding yourself being super stressed out, really be conscious of what kind of foods you're eating, because sometimes, like even for like sugar and caffeine, those kind of foods are going to increase your anxiety and your depression and all those things. So number 3 is working out. And of course, this seems so basic, like it almost seems like so basic, like obviously like yes, work out, it would make you feel better, but it really does. And again, like there's like this idea that, oh, like some people have chemical imbalances, but yes, that is true, but you can also change and control some of those chemical balances inside your own body. Working out is one of the best ways to do that. I would really suggest a HIIT workout and something cardio related. Yeah, I always find that sometimes my workouts are just like not enough, in the sense that like they didn't really, like I was happy I was moving my body, but they didn't do enough to like really change that chemical balance inside me. And I find it to be most effective, and I can really feel the difference of a workout when I'm doing like a HIIT workout or intense cardio. And the cool thing about intense cardio and like HIIT workouts, it takes like 20 minutes to really see like good results with it. So that's something I would personally recommend. Sometimes when I'm just like weightlifting, I just don't feel the results that I need. So really like pushing and exerting my body to like its fullest potential for a short period of time with HIIT or cardio, I really see full results from that. So tip number 4 would be to really like clear your space. I know, what is that one saying? It's like your your living space is like a representation of how you feel like inside, and I do believe that to an extent. Obviously, like certain things come up and you can get more busy and your home and your space like kind of feels more cluttered, but I love cleaning, taking the time to reorganize, taking the time to just like pick up, make my bed, wash my sheets. And for me, cleaning is kind of therapeutic in a sense. It takes my mind off of everything else, and just being able to like recenter and get super cozy in a nice space just kind of puts my mind at ease. And also, clutter can really add to divert stress. So if you have dishes piling up, you have tons of laundry you haven't done, try just like cleaning, taking an hour or so, or half an hour even, and just picking up a few things. It really will make you feel more put together, and it kind of gives you more momentum. So once you have cleaned up your space, you can feel like a little more accomplished. If you were feeling like lethargic or down, or so like engulfed in certain thoughts, if you were stressed out, I just find that it keeps my mind busy. So if I can pick up my room, wash my sheets, vacuum my carpet, like just do things to, you know, make my space feel good again, it really does help like uplift my mood. I don't know if there's like some sort of positive psychology behind that, but it definitely helps for me. The fifth thing that I want to talk about is journaling. So there's lots of different ways to do it. I personally recommend taking a gratitude journal or writing positive affirmations. It really just affirms good things that are still happening in your life. When we get into a state of stress, it's so easy to focus on what's going wrong, what we don't have, where we're not at. And I think that just journaling about what you're grateful for in your life now, and positive affirmations either about yourself or about the life that you have or your family, really do like draw your focus onto what's good, what's great, and can help you kind of change the habit of how you're thinking on a day-to-day basis. So I know for me, when I get super stressed out about work and I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I feel I am like feeling low or lonely or upset about something that didn't work out the way I wanted to, it really is so easy for me to be like, wow, like things just like are not great right now. But when I'm able to like recenter and either like listen to affirmations or write them down, I'm like, wow, there's so many great things about me in my life right now and the people in it, that it's just kind of silly to be focusing on these few small things that I'm trying to make bigger than what they are. So I really recommend doing those activities. I think they're super fun, therapeutic, and yeah, just like makes you realize how much greatness and love that you have in your life. And yeah, I think we all need a little bit more of that positive energy. The sixth thing, I like have my coffee in my hand. This is ironic because the sixth thing I'm gonna say kind of relates back to the food thing, but is no caffeine. But if you're feeling like these anxious or stressful thoughts, or even like depressive thoughts, like stay away from caffeine for a little bit. Opt for maybe some lemon water. I know it's like so basic. Opt for basically anything with sugar or caffeine and you'll feel tremendously better. I can tell you that I will feel like these. I remember like a month ago, and I don't even know if I really like talked about this too much, but like I felt last month was a really hard month for me, and I like had super bad anxiety. I was having panic attacks, and I was doing everything on this list. Like I stopped drinking caffeine, I opted for decaf, I was trying to be conscious of the types of foods I was eating. And I know that it's hard, like when you're such in a deep state, like when you're about to have a panic attack. I don't know if like, obviously caffeine's just not gonna add to, it's just going to escalate the problem, it's just gonna make it feel worse. So just trying to stay away from like things that make you like hyper anxious. Caffeine does that. It's good when you're feeling like stable or even a little tired. It's like great to have like an espresso, but when you're feeling stressed out, I would really try to stay away from caffeine. It doesn't add anything good to the problem. So yeah, I would just stay away from caffeine. The The 7th thing on my list here is a stress inventory list. Now, this is something I've actually been working on with my doctor. I speak to a therapist, I have for years. It's super beneficial for me. I think there's lots of positive things that can come from just having someone there to hold space for you and to really give you an outside perspective on your life and the challenges and struggles and even the good things in your life as well. And it's basically where throughout the day or week, essentially a week, I have my sessions like every 3 to 4 weeks. So once we were done with that call, we had talked about how we were going to have a stress inventory list. So the idea is you make a list of all the things throughout the week that basically stress you out, and you're able to kind of regroup at the end after looking at the list and really think about the things that you can control and the things that you can't control. This tip number 8 is actually something that I had learned from the Savvy Psychologist, and the idea is that if you're like up late and you're stressing out about something, write everything out kind of like you would with like the stress inventory list, but write everything out on a piece of paper and come back to it. So fold up the piece of paper, like it will have like, I'm stressed about, I don't know, let's just say I'm stressed my boyfriend and I are in a fight. I'm stressed that I have to like clean my room still. I don't know, whatever it is for you. Like those seem like very weird examples, but like write out all the things that are stressing you out, fold up the piece of paper and tell yourself that I'm gonna come back to these things at like 1 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, whatever. And the idea is like you're not like dismissing those stressful things that are happening with you, but now is just not the right time to address those stressful things in your life. So say you're like trying to fall asleep and you're like have all of these different thoughts and everything running through your head. The idea is to like write everything out so that you know what's stressing you out and fold it up and say, I'm gonna come back to this. I'm not ignoring these thoughts, I'm acknowledging them, but I'm gonna come back to them tomorrow at a specific time, and give yourself a time slot. Be like, it's not productive to focus on, say, this like stressful thing that's happening to me for like 8 hours in a day. It's not productive. It's not going to lead to a solution. So the idea is to write everything out and come back to it and give yourself a time slot. Like, okay, I'm going to work through these. I'm going to figure out what I can do to find a solution to address these things to make me less stressed out. I think that's like probably one of the most effective solutions that I've actually have practiced, because it allows me to like get sleep at night. It allows me to think about other things besides the thing that's like basically taking up all the space in my head. And it's just also just more productive that way, because sometimes when you're not thinking about the problem, a solution comes easier. So that's something that I would really suggest. Number 9, this tip is to call a friend. I think that sometimes we become super stressed out, anxious, and depressed when we're not fulfilling the need for connection. Humans by nature, we want to be a part of a tribe. We're tribe-like creatures, honestly, and it's so important to have meaningful conversations, meaningful connection, quality time with people. And if you feel like you're not getting that from your everyday life, and maybe there's just like a certain time period like throughout the week where you feel like you're not getting that like connection with someone, call up a friend. I know that this sounds like so cheesy, but just having 15 minutes of a meaningful conversation with a friend or family member can really make so much of a difference in your life, and it can just leave you feeling so much more fulfilled. And at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of different ways that society kind of pushes things on us to mask our stress, our anxiety, and our sadness and our true emotions. And a lot of that is pushed through products. Buy this product, it'll make you feel better, or do this activity for simple pleasure to like take your mind off of things. That's why a lot of times people resort to like drinking and going out when they're feeling like they're missing something, whether emotionally, spiritually, or physically. They seek other things for instant satisfaction and gratification. But if you come back to essentially the core things that we need to be fulfilled in us is like the need for spiritual connection, the need for mental stimulation, physical exertion, all these things. When we come back to trying to fulfill like those 3 things, we really do feel more at peace and at center, and really provides clarity for us to get connected back to our purpose and our meaning. And having conversations with friends, meaningful conversations and quality time with other people really does help push a lot of the other things that are going on in our life that feel so prominent, that feel so like important, and it really does just like prioritize what's actually important in life, and that's being able to be with friends and family and to live out our purpose and really just being connected to either God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. True meaningful relationships and conversations really can provide the most spiritual healing in my opinion, and can really take away a lot of stress and anxiety. Those were my 9 tips on how to really do things that can make you feel less stressed out and can help you navigate some of your stress or internal turmoil that may be stopping you from just like living your best life. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked this kind of content, feel free to like and subscribe and turn on your post bell notifications. It just allows you to get notifications once I upload a video, so if you like this kind of content, it will be pushed up into your feed. But other than that, I don't have much else. I hope you guys have a great start to your week. Tomorrow's Monday. It's a fresh start. It's a clean slate. These tips kind of give you a new outlook into dealing with stress and anxiety. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.
Drag my feet on the tile as I'm walking down the corridor, and I know we haven't talked in a while, so I'm looking for an open door.